First, I want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh by Shema Mashiach Wamalak Yahushua. Right? Yahweh is the name of the Heavenly Father, which the world calls God. And Yahushua is the name of his only begotten Son, which the world inwardly calls Jesus Christ. First and foremost, I want to give a strong shalom. Whether it's freezing or cold, hinder the work of the Most High. Shalom, shalom. Shalom to the Aquath, the sisters that are at home. They're reverencing their husbands. They're being teachers of good things. And the unmarried sisters as well, being tender, delicate, and on fire for the Most High God. Shalom, shalom. Last but not least, want to give another strong shalom to all the mighty teenagers and children in the truth, doing all they can to make their calling and election sure in these last days. All right, and the topic of this cold cut is titled, right, if you're chosen, you can't be around a lot of people. All right, so if you in this truth, the Most High has chosen you, you know you're an Israelite, you know that you're set apart from everybody else, you can't be around a lot of people, man. You're going to go into a phase of what they say isolation. People that you thought was going to be around, family members, friends, whatever the case may be, relatives, cousins, uncles, you're going to see more people are going to separate themselves from you, and it's going to be natural. All right, if you're chosen, if you're special, if you have a high calling by the Most High God, the Lord has chosen you to do things for his name, to give you your purpose and your path. You can't be around a lot of people, man. You being around a lot of people is not going to do nothing but ultimately distract you. Why? Because with more people equals more spirits. Everybody has a spirit. Everybody has a soul. So the more spirits that's around you, that's not good, because your spirit is set apart. Your spirit is different from everybody else. People, they might say it, the way you walk, the way you carry yourselves, it would be complete madness to just be around worldly people, man. We just gonna call it how it is. People that don't have no understanding. People that don't believe in God. People that don't have no purpose in life. People that are just wicked and evil. You can't be around, and you got to be able to accept that. You got to accept being by yourself. A lot of people can't be by themselves. It's going to be sometimes it's just going to be you and God. And you got to appreciate that, and you got to value that. Right? So let me kick it first. Let me kick it off the book of 1 Corinthians. Well, actually, I want to kick it off with 2 Corinthians chapter 6. All right? Kick it off with the book of 2 Corinthians chapter 6 and verse number 14. It says, "Be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers, for what fellowship have righteousness with unrighteousness?" Right? You on a path of doing righteousness. Whether you a brother or a sister, you want to do what's right. You want to serve God. You want to keep his commandments. You want to give your life to God. Right? What are you doing being around unrighteousness? You study around your mother. You're trying to bring her in, and she's completely off. You ever notice every time you go around your mother or your grandparents, it's always an evil spirit trying to attack you? Why? Because you have light and you have darkness. And really, the people that's on a higher spiritual level, they understand you're always going to have light and you're always going to have darkness. That's just how the world is set up. The world was created with light and darkness. So you have light of this world and you have the darkness of this world. Which side are you going to be on? Because if you want to be on the side of darkness, and guess what? It come with a lot of people. It come with having a lot of friends. It come around you constantly being around this person and this person and this person. But guess what? What also come with is you being void. You being drained. You're not serving your purpose on this earth. You're not doing what the Lord has called you to do. Then you had a path to isolation, which is righteousness. It come with few people. That's why the Lord said, narrow is the straight road, for lack of better terms. We're going to get that. But the point is, You got to pick which one you want to be a part of. It says, for what fellowship have righteousness with unrighteousness? And what communion have light with darkness? All right. So whatever your spirit is like, the Most High is going to put you around what your spirit is like. I mean, it just is what it is. Let's go to Matthew chapter 7. Right. So guess what? We don't want to be around a lot of people, especially not a lot of worldly people. People that don't know what's going on. They don't have no understanding. They don't have no guidance. Hey, it's a flex to not be around them, man. You know how many people going through it right now? They're beggars. They're evil. They really want to plot on you, man. You got to be okay and accepting with cutting people off that's not on the same path as you spiritually. You got to accept that, because if you don't, you allow those people to stick around, be around. I'm telling you, they're going to distract you from becoming what the Lord has called you to be. Right? This is the book of Matthew, chapter 7, and verse number 13. It says, enter ye in at the straight gate, for wide is the gate, and broad is the way which leadeth to destruction. So God said you got to go into the straight gate. You got to go into the path where it's a few people actually on it. Believe it or not, it's a few people on the path of righteousness. We just going to keep it a buck. A lot of people not on the path to righteousness. It may seem like it, but this truth in itself, you knowing who you are, an Israelite, God's chosen people, that's when it gets more deeper and more smaller when we go by statistics. It's a lot of people that's trying to do good. It's a lot of people in Christianity, they're trying to do good. Islam, all right? People that's trying to do good, they don't believe in a religion or a God. But when you talk about this truth, now it become a little bit less than 1% of the population. So this path to the kingdom, this is a narrow path, man. This is not a broad path where everybody just going, everybody on the road to the kingdom. No, it's only a few people on the road to the kingdom. It's only a few people that truly want to please the Lord, man. That's actually walking the walk. Seeing that it's only few people is just showing you how difficult and hard this road is. Everybody can't be a part of it. Just like they saying that everybody can't be a part of the success. It says that leadeth to destruction, and many there be which go therein. So the wide gate is the gate that everybody going through, which is the gate of this world. Riches, wealth, money, lust, power. So you see everybody going down a certain path or a certain trend, just know it's leading only to destruction. It says, verse number 14, because straight is the gate and narrow is the way which leadeth unto life, and few there be that find it. And you got to thank God, because you're a part of that few that's going to find that straight and narrow gate. You're a part of that few that actually know the will of God. You're a part of that few that's destined for true greatness, not only in this life, but the life to come. You got to thank the Most High for that, man. So when you start seeing your circle getting smaller, less people are around you, not as close as you used to be with your family, you got to accept that, man. Because God is only going to put you around people that are like you. Like that's what they say, you are who you attract. That's in the scriptures. That's in the Bible. Let's go to the book of Sirach. Right? I want to be around like-minded people. I don't want to be around people that's not like me. I mean, what's the point? I want to be around people that's like-minded. Got the same goals as me. Got the same drive as me. Got the same ambition as me. Not only that, that's going to push me, that I could learn from. We don't want to be around people that's not on the same time and we on. It's going to be the confusion. Right? It's going to be pointless, man. Ultimately, that could distract, that could be a hindrance to me. So you want to normalize being with you. You want to normalize having your circle small. We just going to call it how it is. Let's go to the book of Sirach. All right. It's the book of Sirach, chapter 13. And verse number 14. It says, love the Lord all thy life, and call upon him for thy salvation. Every beast loveth his like, and every man loveth his neighbor. All flesh consorteth according to kind, and a man will cleave to his like. So all flesh is going to consort to his kind. A man is going to cleave to his alike. So people that's around, you look at some of these people, the reason why they are around certain other people, because they just alike. Going to the path to destruction. On the same timing, certain people are connected solely through lust. Certain people, other people, they connected solely through greed. All right. It's the reason why people that's in prison, they're around nothing but people that have been in prison or around that are in prison as well. Because the same spirits they cleave to his light. You ever noticed one time, like, dang, why is this person with this person? On the outer appearance, it look off. Like, you don't even fit in. But reality, the reason why they're around that person is because their spirit is alike. This stuff gets spiritual. It goes past that of the flesh. You probably didn't have people tell you, hey, you don't look right being with this person. You look out of place. Hey, that's the Lord telling you, you don't need to be around this person. You don't have the same path. All right. So when these things be said, you got to take these things into consideration, man. I'm going to read that again, verse 16. Sirach 13 and 16. All flesh consorteth according to kind, and a man will cleave to his like. So at the end of the day, people that are alike are going to cleave to alike people. I mean, it just is what it is. You can't cry, can't boo. You can't say this is my cousin. All right. This is my nephew, or this is my day one friend. None of that stuff matters. What matters is the Most High. That's what matters. This truth is what matters. Your purpose on this earth, that's what matters. That's what's going to supersede all of that. As they say, new levels, new devils. You ever notice as you started to rise up, the higher you go and the higher you elevate, the less and less people are around. Let's say if you was on the bottom, rock bottom, you was on a low spiritual level, you didn't have nothing going on for yourself. Hey, everybody going to be around you. Why? Because everybody on that same level. Everybody on story 1 right now. All right. Everybody on the first floor. Everybody on the second floor. The third floor. It's a few people that get to the 12th story, though. That get to the 12th floor. Everybody not on the 12th floor. That's how it is spiritually. So you got to understand that, man. Let's go to the book of 1 Corinthians. Right? Let's go to the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 15. So you can't be around everybody. All right? If you are around everybody, I mean, you're going to be subjectable to spirits, which could chiefly, I mean, you could be outnumbered and, you know, that could overtake your spirit. All right? This is the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 15 and verse 33. It says, be not deceived. Evil communications corrupt good manners. All right. So what is that saying? Evil communications corrupt good manners. Meaning the people who you commune with, the people who you're around, that could corrupt your character. If you're around a lot of worldly, ungodly people, eventually you don't think you're going to become worldly and ungodly. If you're around people that's pushing nothing but the truth and righteousness, eventually you don't think you're going to become like them. If I was to put a poor man with 1 billion, or if I was to put a poor man with 11 billionaires, you don't think over time that poor man is going to become like-minded just like those millionaires? If I take 1 millionaire and put him around 30 poor people, eventually that millionaire is going to become just like them. Because you are who you're around. I mean, it's inevitable. It's not a coincidence when you came into this knowledge and this truth. Less people start to fall away, and the Most High started to send you more people of good quality. It's about quality. We taking quality over quantity any day. I'd rather be around 5 people that are just like me, if not better, good quality, good morals, good character, trustworthy, loyal, than 100 people that have not the great interest in me. It's not about numbers. This thing is about quality. So you got to check your surroundings. You got to be so aware of your surroundings. All right. If you find yourself you around more people, world, you got to check your spirit. All right. You got to say, hold on. Maybe am I going back down to level 1? All right. We didn't seen it. All right. We didn't seen it before. It will happen. You got to, your environment is what's key, man. All right. My uncle, hey, my uncle isn't, the reason why he keep doing what he's doing is because of the environment. I told him, and he said, you know what, you're right. He said, I didn't understand that your environment is truly what's key. And it is. As they say, the damn crabs in a bucket. You in a rat race. You in a race with a lot of rats. You got to really, really wake up. And again, you got to accept isolation. Some of the greatest men in the scriptures, some of the greatest men to ever walk this earth was isolated. They wasn't around a lot of people. Let's look at Christ, for example. Right? Jesus Christ, when he was walking the earth, he wasn't around a lot of people, man. Christ was, by himself sometimes. And if he wasn't by himself, he was with his 12. And if he wasn't even around the 12 all the time, sometimes he would just be around James, Peter, and John. All right, let's go to the book of, let's see what I want. Let's go to the book of John. All right, let's go to the book of John, chapter 6. All right, it's the book of John, chapter 6, and verse number 63, right? I'm going to start at verse 62. John 6 and 62. What, and if ye shall see the Son of Man ascend up where he was before, it is the spirit that quickeneth, the flesh profiteth nothing. The words that I speak unto you, they are spirit and they are life. But there are some of you here that believe not. For Jesus knew from the beginning who were they that should believe not and who should betray him. And he said, therefore I say unto you that no man could come unto me except it were given unto him of my Father. From that time, many of his disciples went back and walked no more with him. So originally, Christ had more disciples than the 12 at one point in time. But as Christ was starting to elevate, as he was starting to grow, you had some people, they just fell back, man. They kind of just disappeared. You gotta watch that. People that just kind of disappear, family or not, they just kind of spin off in the night. You don't really hear from them no more. That's because the Lord is separating you from those individuals. That's why it just fade off like that. You got to thank the Lord for that, man. Because you don't know what the future is going to behold. You don't know what the Lord has in store for you or that other individual. Some people, they just kind of fade off. And that's what these disciples did with Christ. Till these men faded off, now it was just Christ and the 12. Let's go to the book of Matthew. All right, chapter 10. Right, it's the book of Matthew, chapter 10, and verse number 1. And when he had called unto him his 12 disciples, he gave them power against unclean spirits, to cast them out and to heal all manner of sickness and all manner of disease. So Christ was just with 12 disciples. That was it. 12 people is not a lot of people, man. Imagine when you was in this world, how many people you had on your contacts, how many people you was cool with, you was friends with, you was popping out with. to the point where you only have 12 people, 12 faithful men, and all 12 of them not even solid. It's really one that's hiding in disguise. So you really have 11. That just show you how small even Jesus Christ, his circle was. Christ wasn't walking around with thousands of people. Now he had a lot of followers. Nevertheless, his circle was small with 12 individuals. And he wasn't even around the 12 all of the time. Let's go to Matthew chapter 17. Right, this is Matthew chapter 17 and 1. And after 6 days, Jesus taketh Peter, James, and John, his brother, and bringeth them up into a high mountain apart. So even Christ wasn't with the 12 all of the time. Hey, Christ, he was with only, what, James, sometimes James, John, and Peter. That was it. All right. Brother said, I only have maybe 2 to 3 Akim, if that. Hey, that's the Most High, man. That's a small circle, but I guarantee you will rather be around 2 to 3 Akim than to be around 100 plus people that don't know what's going on and don't have their best interest for you. And that's not following the Lord. Right? It's going to be times you're not even going to be a part. You might not even be around those 2 to 3 Akim. It's going to be sometimes, it's just going to be with you and the Lord. But you're going to come to find out, a lot of people, they can't be by themselves. Right? We living in a world where people have to be with somebody to feel that, as they say, misery loves company. A lot of people are miserable, man. All right? As they say, misery loves company. You living in a world where people can't go a day without talking to certain people. They can't be isolated. They be by themselves, they'll freak out, man. Some people, they can't be by themselves so long, they might start literally turn crazy. Like, it happens. But guess what? It's only a few select people that's gonna truly be isolated. Right, let's go to the book of 1 Kings. Right, I want to get this in the book of 1 Kings. Right, it's the book of 1 Kings. Chapter 17 and 1. And Elijah the Tishbite, who was of the inhabitants of Gilead, said unto Ahab, as the Lord God of Israel liveth, before whom I stand, there shall not be dew nor rain these years, but according to my word. So you had Elijah the Tishbite, which was Elijah the prophet. When you read the book of 1 Kings, Elijah was predominantly by himself. He didn't have a significant other, to my knowledge. All right. He wasn't around just the wicked men of Israel. And he was isolated by himself. Whatever prophecy came to him, he prophesied that, and he went about his business. And he was alone to the point where he thought he was the only prophet. Let's get that in 1 Kings chapter 19. All right, this is the book of 1 Kings chapter 19 and verse number 13. 1 Kings 19 and 13, it says, and it was so, when Elijah heard it, that he wrapped his face in his mantle and went out and stood in the entering of the cave. And behold, there was a voice unto him and said, what doest thou here, Elijah? And he said, I have been very jealous for the Lord God of hosts, because of the children of Israel have forsaken thy covenant, thrown down thy altars, and slain thy prophets with the sword. And I, even I only, am left, and they seek my life to take it away. So Elijah the prophet, and he thought that he was the only prophet left. There was no other prophets. They was all killed. They was all slain by the sword, and he was the only one left. So Elijah the prophet, he was by himself, practicing solitude around no one else. Right, let's go to the book of Genesis. All right, let's go to the book of Genesis, chapter 24. Right, it's the book of Genesis chapter 24 and verse number 63. Right? And Isaac went out to meditate in the field at eventide, and he lifted up his eyes and saw, and behold, the camels were coming. So Isaac, he spent time in solitude. Sometimes you need that isolation time. You need that time to, as they say, recharge. It's just you and the Lord. You meditating in the precepts. You getting your spirit right, because that's what it is in the last days. It's really you protecting your spirit from evil. Got all of these spirits in the world. Got all of these people full of mischief. You have to protect your spirit. If you decide to be around a lot of everybody else, cool. That's your consequence. But you got to really, really, really consider the path that you're walking in, man. Like we brought out in Matthew chapter 7. This is a path for the few people, man. Narrow, straight. Everybody can't walk down this path. This, as they say, this a lonely road. This is a lonely path in this truth. Are you built for that? Because if you can't be by yourself, you're going to have a long time. You're not going to always be around brothers. And you're not going to always be around sisters, man. It's going to be some time. It's going to be you and it's going to be Satan, one-on-one. Who going to win? Who going to come out victorious? Your wife not always going to be around you. Vice versa. Your husband not going to always be around you. It's going to be you, God, and Satan. You're going to get put to the test. Right? Let me bring this out in the book of Matthew. So it's plenty of times where even Christ throughout the Gospels, he was isolated. Right? It's the book of Matthew chapter 4 and verse number 1. Then was Jesus led up of the spirit in the wilderness to be tempted of the devil. And we have fasted 40 days and 40 nights. He was afterward and hungered. And when the tempter came to him, he said, if thou be the Son of God, command these stones be made bread. So Christ was led into the wilderness for 40 days, 40 nights to fast. Moses was the same way. Moses wasn't around everybody all the time. When Moses was around with everybody, he was being stressed out. He was being tempted. He was being vexed with those wicked Israelites. Hey, Moses had to kind of go into the mount 40 days, 40 nights. They was concerned for Moses. Is he all right? Is he okay? But he needed that so he could ultimately increase with God. So the time that you do spend alone, that's the time where it's supposed to be just you and God. You got to spend time with God. How you going to spend time with God? You constantly around people. You got people bugging you, asking you for stuff, hitting you up for stuff. How you going to spend time with them? How you going to spend time with God? You can't do both. See, either spend time with God and be isolated or keep up with the Jones. And keeping up with the Jones not going to get you too far because guess what? Time is ticking. These days are speeding up. It's only so-called 24 hours in a day. It don't even feel like it's 24 hours in a day. It feels like it's only 12 hours in a day. So God is speeding up these times. You got to see what's really at stake. What's really at stake is your relationship with the Father. That's what's more important. And the mission that he has given you to fulfill while you're on this earth. That's more important than them keeping up with the Jones. Right? Let's go to the book of 2nd Esdras. All right, let's go to the book of 2nd Esdras. Right, let's go to the book of 2nd Esdras, chapter 5 and verse number 13. It says, to shew thee such tokens I have leave. And if thou wilt pray again and weep as now, and fast 7 days, thou shalt hear yet greater things. Then I awaked, and extreme fearfulness went through all my body, and my mind was troubled, so that it fainted. So the angel that was come up to talk with me hailed and comforted and set me upon my feet. So Esdras was receiving mysteries and revelations from the angel Uriel. He was by himself. He was isolated. It says, verse 16, and in the second night it came to pass that Shalihil, the captain of the people, came unto me, saying, Where hast thou been? And why is thy countenance so heavy? Knowest not that Israel is committed unto thee, and the land of their captivity? Up then and eat bread, forsake us not, as the shepherd that leaveth his flock in the hand of cruel wolves. And that might be people in this world. Your family might say, hey, come on, you ain't spent a lot of time with us. Come give us some of your time. Hey, these demons, they want your time. That's all it is. They don't really want nothing else from you. If you pay attention, they want your time. That's it. Because they know if Satan could distract you because Satan knows he got little but a short time on this earth to fulfill his will. But he know if he could get your time, he got you. Because less time away from God equals more time to the spiritual demon Satan. More time to vanity. More time to slothfulness. Right? More time to covetousness. More time to lust. More time to pleasure. But if you don't give you ever notice you ain't give certain people your time and they get extremely upset. They get mad. Why you don't answer the phone? Why you don't do this? Why you not spending time with... It's about time. They want your time. Guess what? Time is precious. You can't just give everybody your time. Time is very precious to the point where you won't borrow time. Time is chicken. That's something. Time is one of the 3 things you can never get back. You think we just gonna let that go for granted? No, we're gonna take the grace of the Lord that the Lord has given us to redeem the time. The Lord said redeeming the time because the days are evil. In Ephesians 5:16. So we're gonna take the time that God has given us. We're not gonna waste that time. We already wasted a lot of time in the world, man. Look at all of the time we wasted in the world of doing nothing but folly and wasting that time. Certain brothers wasted a whole year of doing nothing. 2 years, 3 years, 15 years. No, now it's time to use this time wisely. We wasted too much time already. We can't afford to just waste time. But guess what? These demons, they want your time, man. I promise you, they want your time. That's all they want. They want your time and attention. If you give it that, then you lost. So this man, he wanted Ezra to come down, eat bread, and not forsake the people. Verse 19, this is what Ezra said. Then I said to him, Go thy ways from me, and come not nigh me. And he heard what I said, and went from me. And so I fasted 7 days, mourning and weeping, like as the angel commanded me. And after 7 days, so it was that the thoughts of my heart was very grievous unto me, and my soul recovered the spirit of understanding, and I began to talk with the Most High again. So you think if Ezra would have went down there with the people, you think he would have been able to fast 7 days around the people? No. Fasting requires solitude. All right, isolation. So Ezra, he got to separate. He had to, should I go down with the people, spend time with them? Or should I fast 7 days and get these revelations from Uriel? It's really like a pick your poison. Choose life or death. So again, you have to normalize. Guess what? You can't be around everybody. Everybody's you got to also know your worth. Everybody's not worth your time. Don't be naive and foolish to think everybody is worth your time. Everybody not worth your time. All right, because time, guess what? That's cutting into purpose. That's cutting into the work of the Lord. That's cutting into responsibilities that you might have. You got to understand, everybody's not worth your time. All right, let's go to 2nd Esdras, chapter 7. All right. This is the book of 2nd Esdras, chapter 7, and verse number 7. All right. I'm going to start at verse 2. 2nd Esdras 7 and 2. And he said unto me, Up, Esdras, Hear the words that I am come to tell thee. And I said, speak on, my God. Then he said, the sea is set in a wide place, that it might be deep and great. But the entrance were narrow, like a river. Who then go into the sea to look upon it and to rule it? If he went not through the narrow, how could he come into the broad? There is also another thing. A city is builded and is set upon a broad field, and is full of all good things. The entrance thereof is narrow, and is set in a dangerous place to fall. Like as there was a fire on the right hand, and on the left a deep water, and one only path between them both, even between the fire and the water, so small that there could but one man go there at once. If this city were now given unto a man for inheritance, if he never shall pass the danger set before it, how shall he receive this inheritance? And I said, it is so, Lord. Then he said unto me, even so also is Israel's portion. So if you were Israelite, this the portion. This the whole conclusion of the matter. You have to walk this straight and narrow path. And again, this path is a path of few people. This path, it might only be you for a couple of years. You might be the only brother in your area in the truth for 2 to 3 years. Then the Lord, he gonna start, once your spirit get to a certain level, then the Most High gonna start putting certain pieces around you. Until then, you have to be comfortable with the isolation. Because when you're by yourself, now God is personally working on your spirit. The Lord can't work on your spirit when you with the Jones, when you keeping up with the Jones, when you're around this person. The Lord got to separate you so he could personally work with you. So don't listen to people in this world saying isolation is bad. Oh, why are you always by your... These people in the world, man, they stupid. I'm going to just be honest. They stupid. They don't know what's going on. They indoctrinated. They're slow. Something's not right. They got demons on them. They're blind. Don't listen to them. Well, you can't. It's not healthy to be by yourself. Man, you got to get out of that. Don't listen to them. Those are the same people that don't know who they are. Those are the same people, they don't know their purpose. They're not serving God. They're not on the straight and narrow path. They're not on the path of righteousness. They're not in your same shoes. The greater the calling, the greater the purpose, the less people you're gonna be around. It just is what it is. You was predestined from the beginning to walk this walk. You was predestined from the ancient times to fulfill the will of God. These are people, they don't love themselves. They don't have no self-worth. Like the brother said, they're miserable. They have to always be around somebody. Jake always got to be around somebody. Eve always got to have a man. All right? It's vanity. It's vanity of vanities. But what? The Lord has called you. The Lord has chosen you. Let me get that in the book of Matthew. All right, let's go to the book of Matthew, chapter 20. Right, it's the book of Matthew, chapter 20, and verse number 16. It says, so the last shall be first, and the first last. Many be called, but few chosen. So many are called. Everybody gonna get a chance to hear this truth. The Lord is gonna give everybody a chance to repent. But only a select few are chosen to fulfill his personal will. I mean, look at the prophets. Hey, being a prophet, that's not an easy job. Look at the high priests in the ancient world. All right, that wasn't an easy job. The governors, the judges, the kings. All right, everybody just wasn't a king. Everybody's not an apostle. Everybody's not an evangelist. And guess what? Everybody is not chosen. So you got to accept that. You got to understand everybody is not chosen. Hey, the chosen ones, they chiefly going to be around other people that's chosen, like-minded. All right, let's go to Proverbs chapter 13. So you have to watch your crowd. You have to watch who you around. And you have to spend quality time with the Heavenly Father, which is going to require you being by yourself. It's going to require isolation. All right, let's go to the book of Proverbs chapter 13. Right, it's the book of Proverbs chapter 13 and verse number 20. He that walketh with wise men shall be wise, but a companion of fools shall be destroyed. So you want to walk with like-minded people. The Lord said in Amos 3:3, hey, can two walk together except they be agreed? You want to be with like-minded people. People that say are the same goals as you, the same interests. And it might hurt. You might be your cousin, right? My cousin, I can't walk with him. And that's my cousin, my blood cousin. But it just is what it is. It might hurt to your flesh and your heart. Dang, that's my cousin. All right? But you got to understand, so what? It's going to hurt to the flesh. But eventually, you building yourself up through these precepts. You building yourself up through the knowledge of the Lord. Eventually, that feeling is only temporary. We from now on, we doing what's just best for us, for what's best for the Most High, what's best for His ministry, what's best for our spirit. You got to put your feelings to the side, man. Oh, well, that's my aunt, and you know, she the one that carried me when I was a baby. She the only one that looked out for me. Well, brother, you gonna choose God or your aunt? Which one? You gotta weigh these things in the back. What's greater? You're gonna choose these friendships or the Lord. Which is greater? Hey, the Most High is greater, man. God forbid we should forsake the Lord. Like we said, we already forsook the Lord so many times when we was in this world, when we was into darkness, when we was blind, when we didn't know what's going on. God forbid we forsaking the Lord now that we know that He's the Most High. Now that we are in this truth, and we standing up for the Lord. We on the Lord's side 24/7. Because when you was in the world, the Lord was still on your side, even when you was walking contrary to Him. You owe the Lord your life. It is what it is. All right. So again, if you are chosen, the Most High chose you to come into this truth. You can't be around a lot of spirits. It just is what it is. All right. But Lord willing, this video was edifying. All right. Continue to read, pray, fast, study. Most importantly, beseech the Heavenly Father for His mercy. With that, I'm going to say shalom.